welcome to the very first episode of the Hidden Agendas podcast. I came up with that name because, this is about conspiracy theories, religion, and politics. I'm your host, Aamir Ikram, and I want to dive into these topics. What role does religion play in our society? What role conspiracy theories play? What are our politicians hiding? Why are they avoiding questions? Why are they avoiding controversial claims like 9/11, JFK, the USS Liberty attack by Israel in the 67 Arab Israeli War? Was JFK's assassination really done by Lee Harvey Oswald? Was 9/11 really a terrorist attack? Or was it an attack to, as a pretext to invade countries in the Middle East? Why was $1 trillion taken from the Pentagon a day before the 9/11 attacks? These questions will never ever be answered by politicians because they will just say that they are lies and myths. They want you to believe the lies, they want you to believe the myths about 9/11, about JFK's assassination. What if I told you that JFK's Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson was involved in his assassination? Or if I told you that the CIA was involved in JFK's assassination? Using a bit of context, we might know about the Bay of Pigs invasion, the thing that happened between Cuba, Fidel Castro, and the USSR, and Nikita Khrushchev. Or if I told you that the celebrities and the actors we have in Hollywood are no one but just, satanic worshippers. Hollywood is all a lie. These guys don't really, you really think they just sing and act all day long, go back home and I've had a tough day. No, it's much more than that. I believe these guys, the politicians, the celebrities, the media, all of these guys are involved in some sort of satanic worship and they're going to do their level best to get rid of religion. And I really cannot be the only one who thinks that there is more behind that one-eyed dollar bill that we take out of the ATM. You take out $1 from the ATM, you will see the one-eyed symbol known as the Antichrist, the false Messiah, something that is recognized in Christianity, Islam, Judaism. And I'm going to dive into those monotheistic faiths as well. But I want to first tell you about why I think Islam is a very interpreted religion, and why I'm going to debunk all these claims that Islam is this, Islam is that. So we need to understand what Islam is as a religion, logically and critically. It must be critically and logically understood. I will tell you why the media and some far-right governments are hostile towards Muslims. You have these politicians like Geert Wilders, Marine Le Pen, some politician in Sweden, and you have a political activist like Tommy Robinson in the UK. I'm going to talk about them in later episodes, but I will tell you why they are controversial and why their claims of Islamism and radical Islam is invalid. I mean, as a Muslim myself, I will condemn any violence that's done by Muslims because in our holy text, in the Holy Quran, we must hold ourselves accountable. We don't hold ourselves accountable towards Jesus. We don't ask Jesus for repentance. And as Muslims, we respect Jesus. As a matter of fact, I don't even think you can be a Muslim if you don't respect Jesus. That is a law within Islam because he is a messenger, he is a prophet, he is the chosen one by God. We believe that his birth was miraculous. And I also want to tell Christians that, yeah, we do respect Jesus, but we do not see him as divine. Only God has that power, not Jesus. Jesus is a human being. Jesus ate, he slept, he walked, He did things that we as human beings can do as well. God doesn't do that. If God were to do that, he would limit himself, and God does not do that. Yes, I also want to tell you that these political activists, these politicians, they are not fighting, sorry, not fight. I wouldn't say fighting, but they're not working for us. These politicians, these political activists, Tommy Robinson, Marine Le Pen, Geert Wilders, what's her name, Giorgi Meloni in Italy. These guys work for the Zionist regime. What I think the state of Israel, who have a huge, huge influence and power in North America, probably even in Asia, in the Middle East and Europe. They have their hands and tentacles everywhere. And I want to tell you why as well. Why the Palestinians have every single right to retaliate. We're going to go into that in later episodes as well. But I want to tell you about the conspiracy theories of today. Like, recently, Donald Trump said all foreign aid will be cut, apart from, I think, Israel. Think about that. So, how can you, as Americans, you're struggling to pay your bill, but your own government are paying other countries that have got nothing to do with you? The UK, Keir Starmer, is sending more money to Ukraine to fight against Russia. What have we got to do with the Russia-Ukrainian war? I mean, yeah, what's happening there is bad, but there's nothing much I can do to, like, say, oh yeah, we must fight for Ukraine against Russia. This war's got nothing to do with me. What if I told you that many of the soldiers who came home from America, from the UK, after Afghanistan, after Iraq, absolute and utter PTSD. Like, the PTSD on these soldiers are awful, and I do hold my condolences to the fallen, because, they did at least try to fight for their country. They wanted to do what was right. After 9/11, we were told that Osama bin Laden did 9/11, but how do we really know when, even after 10 years, when they found his body, well, not his body, when they found him in Pakistan, apparently they killed him off, right? No one got to see his body. How do we know that 9/11 really was a terrorist attack when Building 7 came down? How do we know that 9/11 was a terrorist attack when many people, well, not people, many counter-terrorism activists, many terrorism experts, have said that George W. Bush knew about 9/11, that foreign intelligence tried to tell the American intelligence services agencies that a inevitable attack were to happen in the US by planes. Why is it that we see these images from a long time ago? I'm talking about like 30, 40 years back, when you see, I don't know, pretty much a picture of like something destroying the World Trade Center in New York. And that pretty much foreshadows the September 11th attacks. I find that strange. And I also want to tell you how religion should not be blamed for these events. I do not believe that Muslims should be blamed for the September 11th attacks. Because something big like these attacks, where almost 3,000 people died that day, Muslims can never ever do this. As much as we, disagree on some points on the Christian and Jewish perspectives, we can never be we could never do something like this. We respect the Jews and the Christians as the people of the book, and I will condemn any type of stuff that Muslims do, because we must have some self accountability. I also want to tell you about JFK. How do we know that it was Lee Harvey Oswald? Maybe his vice president, LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson, had something to do with the assassination. We know that due to the Cuban Missile Crisis, JFK ordered the Bay of Pigs invasion, where it went horrendously bad, and there was pretty much what you would say a rift, a hostile pretty much moment between the CIA and JFK. How do we really know that? How do we even know that the USSR may have been involved in JFK's assassination? We don't know, but what we do know is that Lee Harvey Oswald did not kill JFK. It was some people among JFK's presidency who committed treason by killing their own president, because apparently JFK, wanted to stop the Israeli nuclear program. And I believe when JFK died was when Israel came up with nuclear weapons. And I also want to dive into in more episodes to come about World War II. Did the Nazis go to Argentina? George S. Patton said something about, Hitler and the Axis, saying something that we killed the wrong enemy. And it's a bit, strange how he got killed in a car accident in 1945, months after the Second World War ended. Well, not months after, 3, 4 months later. Anywho, he did die in a car accident because he said something about that we killed the wrong enemy. that we killed the wrong people. We defeated the wrong people. So we're going to be diving into all sorts of conspiracy theories. We are going to see the current events that are happening, the Gaza-Israel war, well, coming to an end, technically, with the ceasefire being implemented by Trump or even Biden. Because, towards the end of January, is where, the the Gaza-Israel ceasefire came into effect. And around a month ago, when the Syrian civil war even ended, who is the current president of Syria? Many know him as al-Jilani. Many call him a freedom fighter. Many call him a terrorist because he was apparently in Al-Qaeda, both in Iraq and in Syria. Many even say that he was part of ISIS. How do we know that the current president of Syria is really working for Syrians, if he really is for the Syrian people? Or is he part of the Israeli agenda? Because as soon as he captures Damascus and when Bashar al-Assad flees Syria to Russia, Israel invades the Golan Heights and other parts of Syria. In fact, how do we really know that even Iran, how do we know that Iran is helping Palestine? How do we know that Iran does not work for the Zionists? Sure, you may see this on the news that the Iranians are backing the Houthis, backing Hezbollah, backing Hamas, but do we really know that? There is more to this story, there's more to all these political events. These are not accidents, these are not, just if you look at it right in front of you, it may look like that, yeah, it's true what we see in front of us, but there's much more to it behind the scenes, man. There is much more to it. So, yeah, it's all about religion, conspiracy theories, politics, why all of these are controversial.